Morning. Uh, Today I will be explaining that independent judiciary in India. What is that independent judiciary? In which way that independent judiciary or independence of the judiciary that has been ensured under Indian legal system? What is the role uh, of that independent judiciary for a democratic country like India? So we are going to discuss all these things in this topic. Anyway, the role played by independent judiciary for the protection of rule of law, democratic principles, good governance, and human rights that is quite significant. We can't conceive, we can't imagine the status of all these things in the absence of independent judiciary. Independent judiciary, as the guardian of all these principles, as to protect these principles in a substantial manner, failure to which the very legal system, the purpose of the legal system or goals of the constitutional scheme will be diluted. In the context of its immense importance under Indian legal system, the framers of the Indian Constitution, so they have contemplated certain provisions under Indian Constitution, so that we have to look into here. Anyway, there is a close nexus between independent judiciary and separation of power theory. If we look into the realities, like separation of power theory says that there should not be any intervention of one organ of the state with that of rest organ of the state, that is separation of power theory. But there is no such kind of practice under any legal system. So the contemporary legal system across the globe, so they have adopted the revised version of that separation of power theory, that is check and balance theory. So according to this check and balance theory, there is no such kind of supreme domain for these organs of the state like legislature, executive, and judiciary. So uh, the scheme that has been adapted in such a way that one organ of the state can influence, can control rest organ of the state. So that is check and balance theory. But if you look into the status of judiciary, particularly Indian judiciary, we come across least intervention with that of Indian judiciary. So that itself shows the level of independent judiciary in India. So accordingly, the importance given for judicial independence under Indian Constitution can be understood through this constitutional scheme. Anyway, before move on to that constitutional scheme, let us understand what is the judicial independence. So, the judicial independence that indicates autonomy of the judiciary. So, the judiciary or judicial functions shall not be intervened by rest of the organs of the state like legislature and executive. There should not be any intervention with that of the way of functioning of the judges, the way in which the judicial power of the state that has been exercised by the judges, that is judicial independence. So, if any scope for such kind of intervention or interference, then we can't expect what free and fair trial or what is it adjudication of the cases from the judiciary. There will be possibilities like violation of human rights, violation of the rule of law. So for that reason, the judicial process or judicial powers should be independent according to this separation of power theory. Uh, if we look into the various international instruments relating to judiciary, for example, we have United Nations Basic Principles of Independent Judiciary, we have Beijing principles, Bangalore principles. So it is evident from all these things that judiciary should be independent. It is evident from all these instruments that they are very specific about independent judiciary.